Hello, Taurus. Thank you for tuning into your general read. For the main read, I'm using the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. For the supportive cards, I'm using the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Already shuffled. Okay, stop. They're telling me to stop. Okay, so what are we talking about is a good question. Because I do love reads, clearly, every other week, and I do general reads every other week, because I'm thinking this might have something to do with a love relationship. But it may be a situation that you might be a little bewildered about, and it's not so much how the relationship's going, but the situation inside the relationship, if that makes sense. It's like a situation occurring in the relationship. It's not about how the two of you get along, but how this situation is affecting you. Okay. And I find this starting off a little bit peculiar, so let's find out where we're going. Now, this situation, I feel like you're not overly worried about it. You're kind of like trying to plan out what are we going to do about it. Whatever the situation is. You're in this mode of like, you know what? Things happen. Let me think about it and we'll find a way to deal with it. That seems to be your standpoint to start off with. Your partner, on the other hand, they've got the anxiety card, and I feel like they're freaking out. So where you're having this, like, let's figure it out feel, but you have get more information and if you believe. I feel like you're trying to, I don't feel like you're getting out of control about it at all. I feel like you're taking this look like, you know what, life has ups and downs. Just because there's a roadblock doesn't mean I'm not going to overcome it. And it might be a big roadblock, but still. Let's figure it out. And I feel like you're the rock in this situation because we have the thinking man between you and your partner. Which, don't get caught up in the gender of the card. I feel like the whole thing here is saying, I feel like it's you who's like taking this very analytical approach to it. And kind of like, I feel like you have to like try to calm down your partner. Like, all right, this is what's happening. I feel like you might even have to like get out a piece of paper and a pen, possibly a pencil, whatever, and you have to literally write down what's happening, what can you do about it. Like, I feel like you're thinking it through, and you're like, all right, here's how we're going to handle this. Here's what we're going to do. Now, I'm assuming that you know what they say when you assume. So this situation has something to do with money. I don't feel like it's a general read, so I don't think that that's exactly going to be true for all of you. It's a situation that's very important, and that it's either somebody you've invested in, a situation you've invested in, or it literally is money. I feel like it can go a few different ways, especially with a general read. And it's going to take some time to fix this. Whatever's going wrong with it, whatever's not right, it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time. I feel like I'm getting like a child in this situation. Like there's something like a medical problem, and that's why your partner is so upset because they seem to be living in the worst. They seem to be living in like the worst has happened, and now it's just a slow screeching halt. Like it's like they're going through this trauma. Like the worst has happened, and it's just going to get worse from here. I don't know if that makes sense. But you seem to be taking a different side. Like, you know what? There's possibilities here, and we're gonna do what we need to do. Whatever the situation is, like I feel like you're pushing forward. This is gonna take some time to figure out where this is gonna really land. There's a lot of value here we're not gonna give up on. So let's just slow down and just take it. I feel like you're pushing your partner to take it one day at a time. You're trying to slow them down. Your partner seems really upset. and caught up in the panic of it. And I feel like you're very strong and like trying to slow that down. But I feel like when they're away from you, other people can't handle it the same way you do, and they talk with your partner, and then your partner just gets out of control. And it's not the fault of the people they're talking to. It's just your partner. Like, it's very hard to calm them down. And it seems like you're able to do that, but there's very limited amount of people who can. And it's not like anybody's saying anything trying to get your partner going. Your partner's getting themselves going. And when they're away from you, I feel like it revs up again. It's just like they get all in this tizzy, in a frenzy. I'm getting like a really like panicked, almost like want to burst out in tears. Can't handle it. There's nothing we can do. It's all going to crap type feeling here. Like life has just went into the land of devastation for them. They seem to have a hard time staying out of that mindset. I feel like you're not willing to just accept the devastation. You're not there, you're not going that way, you're not going to see it that way, and you're forcing your partner to like slow down, and you're just like, listen, I'm not accepting defeat, and you're not either. So slow down, we're going to take this one day at a time. I feel like you have to get a little bit, I don't want to say nasty, but a little bit insistent, like calm down, like calm down, just hold up. We're going to take it one day at a time. Nothing has been completely destroyed yet. There's always possibilities. Just slow down, and we'll take it one day at a time. It's feeling very aggressive, like you have to be, but you have to be because the frenzy seems like it's really like you have to match it, and you have to be like, stop. You might have to actually get a little vocal about it, like stop, calm down. And it's not like it's not warranted, but you're very well aware that this isn't helping. You freaking out is not helping. So you're very... And I feel like the more upset they are, the stronger you're getting, and the more you dig your heels in, like, no, we're taking this one day at a time. This is not over. All right, that being said, because it feels very emotional, especially with the way your partner feels, like they just want to lose it. They're having a really hard time with this. But I feel like it's really important to realize when they're away from you and talking about the situation with other people, I feel like it gets out of control. Because I feel like they start losing control. I don't feel like many people can calm them down. You're one of the few. Okay. You do get them to slow up a bit. But when I'm getting weight on their side, I feel like it's just kind of like, it's almost like an icicle feeling. Like they're frozen in time and they're calm for the moment, but it's not like the situation isn't still happening, but they're frozen. They haven't calmed down. They're just kind of stopped. Like I don't feel like they've calmed down. They've just stopped, if that makes sense. Because I'm going forward a little farther, and I'm noticing it has the word financial constraints. Now, if it's a money situation, this is quite the literal card. If I'm seeing this kid again, like a younger boy is what I'm seeing, and like some type of medical problem. When this comes through, I feel like options are limited about what can be done. But if you look closely at that card, there is some money in there. So there are some options. And some options are better than no options. I feel like that's where you're going through. I feel like that's what you're heading for. And you're like pushing that forward. You're like, you know what? There may not be many options, but there are some options. And we're going to take them. We're going to go through these options, and we're going to choose one. And we're going to do that. Because you know what? Trying gives us a chance. Not trying is just an assured fail, and I'm not about that. I'm not going to do that. We're going to try. I don't care what it takes. We are going to try. So we're going forward. Now, even though I'm getting like this, at this point, like your partner is still, I'm feeling like they're still like, it's kind of like they're frozen. I don't know how to explain this. Like it's like on pause. Not that it has to unpause, but it just like, I don't feel like I'm not feeling like they've calmed down. I just feel like you have it under control, and you have them like you had to stop them. I feel like there's a stop of too much communication or of hashing out the situation too much, because you're realizing that they just kind of, they go bonkers. They lose it. They can't handle it. So you're just kind of stopping it. You're just like, don't think about it. I'll think about it. We'll keep it like this for now. And I feel like the reason is because they lose it. So for now, and this isn't permanent, but for now I feel like you're the one who's handling it, only because You're like, if I get the other one involved, it's just going to be bonker city. It's not going to work. So I feel like you're making the decisions, to be honest with you. That's what I'm getting. And I feel like you're communicating what's going to happen. I'm feeling like you're the one who has to take the helm because your partner just seems to be falling apart. And at first you were trying to like do a 50-50 thing here, but you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to take over here because my partner just is falling apart. So you have them on stop, pause, stop, whatever you want to say. They're just kind of stuck. And you're taking it over. You're like, just don't think about it. I'm going to think about it. It's going to work out. Okay, that's where we are? Okay. So you're communicating this. I'm kind of feeling like you're more making the decision. You might be talking about a few options with your partner, but you're very selective about how you communicate what you're seeing. You're seeing certain options better than others. The options you think are better, you're communicating them stronger. And you're very conscious to push forward the positive of them. You're trying to include your partner as much as possible, but you're very mindful that, you know what, got to be careful that I don't set him off. Him, her, whoever. I feel like this is a very rough situation because your partner just can't handle it. They just can't. Luckily, you can. And I don't feel like, it's not like it's who they are. I just feel like they can't. So you have to communicate a lot. You have to be careful of the communication. You're very selective. I wouldn't say you're making the total decision yourself, but like you're the one, you might give like some of the information like I said, but then like which way, like you might be like, let's do this, and I feel like they're agreeing with you. That type of thing. Like I don't feel like you're just like walking away and just doing it all yourself. I don't feel that, but you're selective and you have to control the situation. It's just how it is, and I feel like that's how you're looking at it. Like it's just how it is. Now, you're showing your partner these other possibilities, and I feel like if you notice, there's a very white, bright light in the distance there. It makes the hallway look better. Like I feel like you're making them see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're giving them hope. The way you're handling this, and you're very smart about how you're doing it, because even the options, you're skirting around the negative pieces purposely because you know that that's not going to help. It's just going to go gone. So you're skirting around it very selectively, addressing what needs to be addressed, but like leaving things out that don't need to be talked about just yet. Like it's one of those cross that bridge when we come to it type situations. And you're really bringing up their hope. Like they're looking at it a lot better. They're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. Now you got yes, which is a soft yes, and you have the situation will improve. Situation will improve is kind of tipping into your side, which means you're improving the situation. The way you're handling it, this is making things better. This is the right decision to make. And I'm wondering if you might be questioning like the way you're handling it, the selective skirting around the negative, because you might be like second guessing yourself, like do I really want to do that? Or should I just be like out there because, you know, how should I handle it? I feel like you might be just second guessing yourself. Like, is this the right thing to do? Just give my partner the good parts and not tell him about the bad parts. Him or her, whoever. But I'm getting like that is the right thing to do. And it is improving the situation. The soft yes means that this can go better. A soft yes means that possibility is open to you. But I feel like if you overshare and you give the negative, it might go a little differently. It might get a little darker for your partner, and it might be a little rougher, especially long term. So like the soft yes is warning you. If you do it that way and you kind of like do the Mary Sunshine things, I call my mother Mary Sunshine, it's not her name, but when she just kind of like sugarcoats things to the point where like, you know, this is so sweet, I might barf. But if you go that way and you kind of like you might address a couple negative things slightly, but you try to give it as the best positive spin as you can, I feel like it just calms your partner and it puts them in a better mood, in a better mindset. And I don't feel like you're worried about knowing more than they know. I think you're just looking at it in the sense of like long run. Is this going to bite me in the ass? Literally. But I feel like it's going to work to your benefit. For right now, it's like if this improves the situation, I feel like you can probably touch on certain things and just address them very slightly. So that way if they come around in the future, you can be like, well, we knew this was a possibility, but, you know, I feel like you might have to be a little more diplomatic than you might be really a fan of, I should say. But for where your partner is, I feel like this is the best option for you right now if you want this to get better, like emotionally for the whole group. Does that make sense? Okay, the whole group. I don't feel like you have a hard time holding this information. It's just, I think you're looking at it long term. Like, is this going to be worse in the long term if I just don't say what I'm seeing now? But I'm getting that, you know, the way you address it, you can probably talk about it to where it's not an issue. If it does happen in the future, you can be like, well, we talked about it briefly and it was a possibility, but I was hoping for the best. I feel like you're fine. Pushing forth the positive is something your partner needs. I'm kind of feeling it kind of die there. All right, so I feel like we got to the end here. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.